What's up, everybody? It's Will with Schedule Fly, and I am in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, with Josh Lambert, co-owner of Vicious Biscuit, which opened a couple months ago. This place is phenomenal. I just ate an incredible breakfast here, chicken and waffles. I don't eat breakfast typically, but I devoured this. It was fantastic. But these guys are crushing it here. They're doing really well. They run a great business. It's very popular. I was out last night in Sullivan's Island. Josh, I hadn't even told you this yet, but went to 4 places over there that are all customers, and I mentioned I was coming here, and everybody had great things to say. They'd either been here or they were looking forward to coming here.
Awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah. So, so getting started, man. Tell me your background in hospitality. When and how did you get started in hospitality initially?
Sure. So, ironically, my main job is in healthcare, but I've always had a true passion for hospitality. About 15 years ago, I was a traveling chef. My first job out of college, I started out as a pharmaceutical rep, and crazy, 2 years in, I just got tired of it. I was 23, hadn't really played out my younger years in life that I needed to, and quit a 6-figure pharmaceutical job, packed up a Pathfinder, quit without giving a 2 weeks notice, and moved to Colorado, and became a line cook in Winter Park, Colorado. Kind of moved my way up, as you do in the kitchen and as you learn, do your due process. And then I traveled the U.S. for 3 years and worked my way up all the way to a sous chef. So Mackinac Island, Michigan, upstate New York, up in the Berkshire Mountains, and then ended up down in Naples, Florida, at the Waldorf Astoria before they closed down.
Wow. So this was just, you went out there, experience cooking or just
always had a true passion for it. Was an only child, and my dad was in management with a pharmaceutical company, and I had to kind of learn how to cook on my own. So just started throwing stuff together in the kitchen, and really learned flavor profiles, and cooked a lot for family, and it was almost a passion of mine. I almost after my first year out in Colorado, I almost went to CIA up in Hyde Park, New York.
Yeah.
And really wanted to do that, but then I realized that I was kind of stuck for life if that's what I wanted to do, and it was a big investment, at the time. And but I just wanted to do that. But however, after really praying about it and thinking about it, I needed to get back into healthcare, and decided exactly where my life was going to play out. And then I always knew that it was going to be a dream of mine to be able to eventually down the road, when I had the capital and the right business partner, to be able to get back into the hospitality and restaurant industry. And now here we are chasing that dream.
Okay, cool. So, when did you leave Naples?
I left Naples in 2006. 2006.
You've been here since, or?
No. I've lived all over the country. I've lived in Scottsdale, Arizona. I've lived in Pensacola Beach, Florida. Memphis, Tennessee. Birmingham, Alabama, and now I've been here for about almost going on 7 years. 6 years now.
Okay.
6 years.
Okay. What were you doing prior to starting Vicious Biscuit?
I own a healthcare consulting company.
Okay, healthcare consulting. Got it. So you're
Then,
still doing that?
Still am. Yeah, I have it on autopilot. Have people running the company for me. But this is what brought my heart and passion alive again. I finally feel alive again. A lot of people chase the dollar, and I just was getting burned out, and we came across this idea, and we'll dive deeper into that. But my business partner and our chef, and also a business partner of ours, we found the right niche that we believe that can take off, and that's where we are today.
Yeah, tell me about that. How did the idea for Vicious?
Sure.
Was it your idea, or
partially?
It's probably all of yours, but
not all of mine. Absolutely not. I will not take.
all of your group.
Yeah, all of our groups. Absolutely, will not take 100% of the credit for this. This is all a team player mentality in this restaurant. But my business partner at the time was George McLaughlin, and George has a very successful background in hospitality. He owns several McAllister's franchises, sold them, I believe, when he was 29 or 30, but started out at the original McAllister's deli with Dr. Newcomb in Oxford, Mississippi, back when he was in college at Ole Miss. And grew up in that franchise, started that whole franchise division for them. And I was actually up in Asheville, North Carolina at Biscuit Head.
Okay.
And just up there for vacation, getting away from everything, snowing, up there with my family, and went to Biscuit Head and just have that entrepreneurial background and visionary. And I'm sitting here at this restaurant and I'm just watching. I'm like, what is going on here? Lines out the door. And then we just went back for 2 or 3 days in a row, and I just watched their whole processes. And then I got to thinking, I was like, there's really nothing like this in Charleston, South Carolina. So I came back and drew up a business plan. It was about 30 pages. I did all the demographics and kind of, where it would fit into the marketplace, finding the right location, as you know, is huge here in this area. And I reached out to my CPA and financial advisor, who's very well known in this area. And I said, look, I need you to connect me with the right person who knows hospitality around here and a restaurateur who I think I have a good idea. And I want them to tell me if the baby's pretty or ugly.
Right, yeah.
So they gave me a couple names, and I vetted those individuals out, and I ended up on George. And George asked me to meet at McAllister's Deli, of all places, which he's sold several years ago. And we met over on Long Point Road in Mount Pleasant. And gave him the business plan, and he told me on the phone, he goes, look, Josh, I'll meet with you. I am not getting back in the restaurant industry. George owns a very successful liquor and wine store, Bottles, and also really big into real estate. And he goes, I just don't have the margin. I don't have the time. And he sat across from me. I think he got to page 2 or 3, and he just turned it over. And I'm like, okay, you're right. But he looked at me, and he just said, when can we start?
Really?
So, which was
why is that? What took him from not wanting to be back in the business to being so compelled?
The more that our friendship has grown, the more that I've realized he has that burning passion for hospitality too, and he misses it deep down, and that's really coming out now, and he's excited about this. But also, I believe he saw the market potential. You ask somebody where they want to go eat here in Mount Pleasant for breakfast, and you're scrambling for places to find.
That's hard to believe, being right outside. I mean, we're, for folks that are listening that don't know the area very well, we're literally 10, 15 minutes from. We're right outside of Charleston, right across the bridge.
Exactly.
And Charleston's just a culinary hotbed.
Yeah, it's a mecca. It's a mecca here, and you've got some incredible restaurants, downtown, and there's some great restaurants here in Mount Pleasant. But at the end of the day, parking is a big thing. And you go downtown and you just really don't have the parking, and people don't want to, do that grind and cross the bridge and get stuck in traffic. So, we found a great location here on Coleman Boulevard at the old Boulevard Diner. We got 45, 50 parking spots here, which is a make or break for several restaurants.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, you do have plenty of parking. That's a big deal here for sure. What was here before? A
Boulevard Diner.
Okay.
Yeah. So Sal had the Boulevard Diner. He owns several other successful restaurants around here. And then, to dive a little deeper into the story, we had located this property, and we were coming up with a different concept, same idea, but a different name. It was going to be called the Bangin' Biscuit. And we were having a difficult time finding the right partner as a chef to really run the kitchen in the background and really manage that end of it, because George and I just don't have the bandwidth to be able to do that right now with our other businesses that we have going on.
Yeah.
I'm entrenched in here right now pretty much every day, which is a good thing. Really watching this baby take off and bloom.
You have to do that, don't you?
You have to.
Yeah.
But we found a great partner, Michael Greeley. He's our head chef, and he was the one that actually had the name Vicious Biscuit. Michael was doing an incredible job with him and his wife doing a catering company out of their home, and they were doing little pop-ups at like little brew pubs and stuff like that. And the Post and Courier did a write-up on him, and it was an incredible write-up, and it talked about how great his biscuits were, and that I think the title of the article was something like, "Watch out, Callie's Hot Little Biscuits, there's a new game in town."
Okay.
And that was when the lights went off. And George sent me the article. I was literally messaging Michael within minutes. He answered my reply. He thought it was a joke. He didn't know what was going on. The next morning, we were in his kitchen testing out his biscuits.
Did you know him?
We did not.
Okay.
Didn't know him.
Okay, so you were literally messaging him out.
Literally messaging, saying, hey, the article talked about how he was looking at going into the food truck side of things.
Okay.
5 years down the road, wanted to get into a brick and mortar site. But as you know, timing is everything in any business opportunity. And 5 years might have missed the mark.
Right.
So George and I, we had the capital to be able to build a brick and mortar. So we were over there and able to speak with them about what their dreams were and where they wanted to see it go. And they got into the same vision that we had. So we felt comfortable. We vetted each other out for another 30 days or so, and then came to an agreement. And we already had the location, and it was just, it was the perfect marriage right out of the gate. And Michael and I, with my culinary background and his culinary background, he had 4 or 5 staple biscuits on his catering menu, and then I had several on my menu from the Bang and Biscuit. And we just got in the kitchen and we married the two and came up with our full menu. It took us about 9 iterations before we drilled down our biscuit recipe. Over about an 8 or 9 month span, and then we brought in about 15 or 20 influential people in the restaurant industry who had a culinary palate and said that's it, and that's where we stand today.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So there really is in this concept. So you spent that time vetting it out, and then you. Was this last year?
No, we're going on.
I mean, you already had the location.
We already had the location.
Okay.
I identified. We went through negotiations with the owners of the building, who own the property, and that took some time. But we knew that
you bought the building, or do you lease?
We leased the building.
Okay,
yeah,
right.
We leased the building. We've got a 10-year lease with 2 5s behind it, so
okay.
we're here permanently for a long time. We got location 2 going up that we'll talk about shortly, also. But the big thing is, like I said, we're going on almost 3 years now from thinking about the idea to seeing the full concept come to fruition, when we opened on December 22nd of 2018, right before Christmas.
Yeah.
So, but George and I, we did a lot of intensive research. We flew, to Nashville. We looked at multiple other concepts that were going on with that were successful. Biscuit Love in Nashville, Biscuit Head in Asheville, Maple Street Biscuit Company out of Jacksonville, the Flying Biscuit, I believe that's the name of it, Rise, Denver Biscuit Company in Denver.
Yeah.
Biscuits, and then there was a big article, I forgot what editorial was in, I think it was Restaurant Magazine or something like that, but it was talking about biscuits were the new burgers in the United States, and the craze for just a good breakfast, option. I mean, it's the number one meal of the day.
Yeah.
And we took everything that we saw that we liked in these certain restaurants, and we implemented them, and then what we thought we could improve on, and that's what we did with our concept here. We use farm to table as much as we can. We use Story Farms off of Johns Island to get our eggs, our pork. We use local coffee, Bootlegger Coffee Company, which has incredible coffee. Charleston Tea Plantation for our hot teas. We use Palmetto Farms Stone Ground Grits. So we don't have a freezer in the background. Everything is fresh, made from scratch daily. Our biscuit maker gets here every morning at 4 a.m., and we treat every customer, whether they're the first customer in or a customer that shows up 5 minutes before we close, we want them to have that same experience all throughout the day.
Yeah. Tell me about that. I mean, how do you find people in today's time that are willing to serve your customers the way you want them to serve them?
Sure, absolutely. That's a great question. George and I, we talked about it before we opened, and as you know, labor is very difficult here in Charleston in the hospitality, just because there's so many restaurants, and one of the fortunate things our hours are Monday through Friday, 7 to 3, and then Saturday and Sunday, 8 to 3. So a lot of my kitchen staff and my service staff, they work double shifts. So this is the perfect hours for them. But at the same time, a lot of restaurants use the motto, customers first, employees second. Our motto here is employees first, customers second. Mm-hmm. If our employees are treated fairly, our customers are going to have that experience no matter what.
Yeah.
And we take care of our employees here. My kitchen staff has been with me since day one. I've had one turnover, which is unheard of in this in this space.
And when you say you take, what do you mean you take? Like, how do you take care of them so well? What are some of the...
Sure. From a management owner standpoint, is getting in there and grinding with them.
Yeah.
If I see that they're getting in the weeds a little bit, I'll get back there on the flat top. I'll cook. I'll get back there and I'll do anything that they do.
Yeah.
Michael, same thing. George, same thing.
Yeah.
We're in Expo on Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
I prefer being home with my family on Saturday and Sunday, but it's part of growing this concept and having to pay the dues. So being a leader by example and letting them see that, we're willing to do everything that they do.
Yeah.
Praising them every day on how great of a job they're doing. Top pay.
Yeah.
We pay top pay across the board. I know that for a fact.
Yeah.
We take care of them with employee meals. So we want them every day that they walk in here to feel like family.
Yeah.
And it's not just a job, not just punching a clock.
Right.
And we're going to, as we grow, we're going to have management trainee programs. So there's room for growth here. It's not you walk in and you have a stalled job.
Yeah.
They are going to, if you come in here and we see that talent in that individual, I've already promoted one person to a management trainee that I see talent in.
Right.
And they're basically put in a 90-day program to see if they're going to make that cut. Because Michael, myself, George, my managers, we moved to store 2. All about scaling. It's not the easiest thing
that's the
to
next
do.
question. Yeah, talk about how you take that and scale that up. I mean, you guys
Sure.
are here and it's one location and you're able to spend a lot of time here. So you got number 2 on the way. Talk about that.
Yeah, we got number 2 on the way. We're going into the Nexton community, which is right outside of Somerville. It's about 25 miles up the road. A great development. Hall's Chop House is in the same development. Taco Boy is to the left of us, and it's got 4 Class A hotels wrapped around it. There's a huge Carolina Ale House up there. We got exclusive rights to breakfast up there, so we're really excited about that.
That's great.
But basically, I've got 2 great managers here now. Kristen Campbell is my front of the house manager. Jared Gonzalez is my assistant manager in the front of the house. Grooming Jared to most likely take over this store when we move into Nexton Place, and Kristen will move over to there, and then we'll hire another layer of management from there.
Okay.
And then Michael will obviously transition over there into the training aspect of getting Nexton open, and then by that time we will have a kitchen manager back there who will be able to kind of take over that role that he is in right now to make sure that the train stays on the track here in Mount Pleasant.
Right. Okay, gotcha. And when are you opening there?
We're looking to open fall of 2019. It's already under construction. So, I'd like to say somewhere between September, October, definitely open by November.
Okay, gotcha. And then you've got plans for further growth from there, I know?
We do. We're already looking at multiple other locations. We'll share those with everybody as soon as we get the green light on those. But we plan on scaling aggressively. We've identified some great locations. We're going to look at a property next Wednesday, and then hopefully to have 5 to 6 here in the Charleston area, and then we're going to we've identified another market segment that we think is going to be really hot, and we plan on growing to 30, 40 locations in the next 5 years.
5 years?
Next 5 years.
Okay. That is aggressive.
It's very aggressive.
That is aggressive.
It's aggressive.
how do you manage that? How do you manage that rapid growth with keeping the
quality?
Scale? Yeah,
sure, absolutely.
I mean, I know you just talked about that, but that's a
it is. It's fast, and to be honest with you, that's where George's expertise comes into play.
Yeah.
Like I said, when he was 21, he was entrenched in McAllister's, and he developed their whole franchisee model.
Mm-hmm.
So, he knows how to grow at that rapid pace. Obviously, it's going to take a very talented management team to all the way from, executive roles down to purchasing to branding, marketing groups.
Yeah.
Multiple talent in the kitchen, front of the house, and you kind of store 3 to 4 to 5. That's kind of the hardest step. But then it's just you put standard operating procedures in place.
Right.
And we're not sure if we're going to, we don't have plans to go franchise right out of the gate. We probably plan on keeping the first 5 to 10 corporate, and then we'll kind of see how that plays out.
Okay.
So, that whole franchise model, it can make or break you.
Yeah.
So, but George and I right now, with Michael, we plan on keeping the first several under the corporate umbrella. But to answer your question, it's going to take a lot of hard work, a lot of long hours, but at the same time, with George running that side of the operations, he knows how to get there, and he's got the team behind him ready to jump on the bandwagon when we say, let's go.
Gotcha.
So
let's go back. All right, I want to get back to this place and this location here.
Sure.
What have y'all done? I mean, you're doing a lot of things really well, and I've experienced it. So, the food's great, the service is great, ambience is great, parking's great.
Yeah.
But what you started out really well.
Mm-hmm.
You've been open. What's it been? 2 months now?
Yeah, we're at 2 months. Yeah, approximately.
2 months. Okay. Everybody I've spoken to, like I said, you've developed a really good reputation quickly. What are some of the things y'all have done outside of the execution to attract a following? Have you done a good job with social media,
Sure.
PR? What's helped you kind of develop this brand so quickly?
Yeah, absolutely. So to be honest with you, we've done very little advertising. It has been word of mouth. Our social media has done exponential growth for us. We do have a PR person on staff, and she's done an incredible job really growing our social media profile and getting that following going. We've had
what tools do you use? Instagram or
Instagram's our main one. Facebook,
Yeah.
Those are the two big ones. The Instagram feeds into the social, into the Instagram feeds into the Facebook.
Yeah.
When you make the post. Doing the IGTV, we've had the opportunity. A couple of TV stations we've been honored to be their guest on the show on Low Country Live in the morning, and they also did a 3-minute segment. Came in here, filmed everything. So I think we've gotten a lot of great press from that. Before we even opened, we had 3 or 4 newspaper articles, just from the hype that the town was talking about it, and seeing this whole building come to, from basically took it down to the studs to where we are now.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's been a lot of word of mouth, which is impressive. The amount of repeat customers we have it's mind blowing, and it's exciting, and that lets us know that we're putting out a good product. I think another one of our reasons for fast success is, like we talked about, quality product. We could cut corners in so many ways, but quality product, hot food, a quick turnaround time. You can see a line out the door, and on the Saturdays and Sundays, it's wrapped around the building.
Yeah.
And people are drive by, and you got little kids, that could be a little a distraction.
Sure.
But from standing at the handicap sign down the sidewalk to time you order, you're 15 minutes, your food's out in 6 to 10 minutes, and you're eating and you're out the door in 45 minutes. I mean, that's we've put in some great processes. We're staffed up on the heavy times to make sure that everyone is taken care of. Customers always right here. If there's an error on our part, we take ownership of it.
Yeah.
And we want every single customer to walk out of here with a smile on their face. And being a family-friendly restaurant, I mean, you know, I have 2 little girls myself. I have a 4 and a 2-year-old. George has 2, and he's got 1 in high school and 1 in middle school, and then Michael's got 2 little kids too. So we're family friendly, and hearing little babies in here and toddlers, we love it. You know, the music gets pumping in here on the weekends. We get a little Vicious style going, and you know, just we want to be a restaurant that people come to over and over and know that they're going to get exactly what they pay for.
Yeah. These other concepts that you were up in Asheville and you guys looked at other are some of them growing aggressively as
they
well?
Are.
Or, I mean, I think Flying Biscuits they're in Charlotte. They've been around for a long time, but I don't know that they've grown quite a bit. Rise has grown drastically. Yeah. Okay.
Biscuit Love, I think they're on their 4th or 5th location.
Okay.
I think a venture capital group came in on them.
Uh-huh.
Biscuit Head is on their 3rd location. Maple Street is probably the fastest. I think they're on location 30, 35 now.
Okay. Wow.
And under 4 years.
Okay.
So we're kind of on that growth plan path. It can be done.
Yeah.
We know that it can be done. We might miss that mark a little bit, you know, but you've got to have, as an entrepreneur, you know, you put up a vision board, and you got to chase after something.
Sure.
And if you don't have a plan in place, you're doomed from the start.
Yeah.
So we're going to take baby steps, but also run a little fast.
Yeah.
Most people would think George and I are a little crazy. We had already executed lease number 2 at Next in Place before this building, 5 months before this building was even open.
Okay.
So that's pretty aggressive.
That's aggressive.
It's aggressive.
Yeah, sure.
You know, so,
but you felt good about what you had, and you
felt great about it.
You knew you could execute on what you wanted to do, and okay.
Absolutely.
Right. What's been the toughest part about it?
The toughest part about it, you know, for me personally, is coming out of healthcare to where, you know, it's a much not as intense pace, but getting back in here and, you know, working 80-hour weeks, you know, that can become gruesome.
Yeah.
But, you know, just working out the kinks behind the house without letting customers see what's going on, without them letting know there are any issues going on.
Sure. Getting
our, you know, par levels in place, you know, making sure that everything is streamlined, making sure that the back of the house is communicating with the front of the house communicating with the back of the house, because sometimes there can be a lot of you know, intensity between those 2 workstations. Mm-hmm. And knowing that everybody here is one team and we all work together. But that's probably been the biggest obstacle that we've run into. But we have transitioned over the past 2 weeks, and we are running a very well-oiled machine now, which is exciting to see in such a short time. I mean, to pump out, you know, 1,000 biscuits a day on Saturday and Sunday, and only being open for 2 months.
Yeah.
And, you know, maybe having 1 to 2 dishes come back a day with an egg cooked, you know, supposed to be over easy. Maybe it was over medium by the time it got out.
Yeah.
You do that on 1,000 plates and you only have 1 or 2 come back.
It's pretty
amazing.
Yeah.
And then you go on and you look at our social media reviews, Yelp, Facebook, Instagram, and just to get the amount of feedback and, you know, how amazing the biscuits are and stuff like that, and getting the gratification from, you know, the customers and patrons talking to our managers and letting them know how great the food is, and they're just blown away. That's exciting. It's really exciting.
Yeah, that's fantastic. What else is on your mind, man? Anything else you want to rap about?
Man, I'll rap about anything. You don't want to come get that part out on me. No, but we're excited to be part of Schedule Fly. Y'all have been very helpful from us right out of the gate. You jumped on the phone with me. I think I emailed you, and you were texting me like 5 minutes later. And I think, if I recall, it was like 9 or 10 o'clock at night. I think
it was back in December. Yeah, I remember talking to you on my front porch one night.
Yeah,
that's right.
So I thought that was pretty cool, because that's how I operate. Yeah. Customer service, no matter what end of the gamut you're on. But I asked all of my staff, how do they like it? They loved it. Obviously, we were getting bombarded with multiple other people that wanted us to do it. But you guys are 3 hours up the road from us, local. Everybody was very hospitable with your company, got us up and running.
Oh man, I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that.
Letting us know that we could be a partner, and at the same time, as as a startup, affordable too, which is great. Yeah. So a lot of these companies, they try to hit you up for a lot of money right out of the gate, and as a startup, you only have so much capital to work with and budget with. But the ease of use, and there's been zero hiccups with y'all. Your crib sheets daily, everything across all the platforms have worked incredible.
Not necessary. I appreciate you saying all that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We really, that's the foundation of the business. Yeah. Simple software and great service. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And we look forward to to growing with y'all, and look forward to seeing where y'all continue to grow at the same time, because partnerships, they're hard to come by. Whether it's your food purveyor, your coffee purveyor, there's going to be hiccups. Yeah. And it's how you handle those situations that make or break a relationship.
Sure, absolutely. So, I do have one more question on that note. I meant to ask you. You're using a lot of, as you said, local ingredients.
Yes.
How does that work as you scale? Because
That's a great question.
Yeah.
Locally, it will be much easier to do. When we get into other markets, we might have to look at other local egg farms.
Yeah.
To be able to, in that community, to be able to support that community.
Right.
So if we have 5 or 6 restaurants here in Charleston, we're supporting a large deal of business for Story Farms.
Yeah.
We're ordering, thousands of eggs a week. From Story Farms. And they're an incredible partner with us. Jeremy and his wife over there, they're such great people. And he came out of a 3-star Michelin restaurant out of Chicago, and just got tired of the grind and came down here and bought this farm, and sustainable chickens and hogs, and they make all of our sausage and ground it for us, and you can tell the quality difference. But to answer your question, the coffee won't be an issue. Charleston tea, stone ground grits, those are all dry goods. So but as far as like the fresh, things like that, unless we work out something with our large national food purveyor, whoever that might be at that time, getting them to stock their eggs for us and be able to get them to us. Yeah. But the goal is, you want to support local community as much as you can. Yeah. So it's $1 million question. Yeah. I wish I could answer that completely, but as far as that goes, right now, Story Farms is our dedicated provider on that side of it. But as we get into other communities, we obviously want to support those communities also.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, cool. Yeah. So, my man, enjoyed it.
Appreciate it, buddy.
Congrats on the early success. Best of luck for the growth, and a lot of hard work, but a lot of joy in what you do. I can tell.
Absolutely.
So it's a great success story, or early success story. I'm sure it will continue. You guys are doing just phenomenal work here. Proud to serve you and your crew.
Thank you.
Glad I had a chance to eat breakfast here today.
Absolutely.
And
you're welcome anytime. Any of your staff, and hopefully people that hear about it, if they're in the Mount Pleasant area, Charleston area, will stop by and see us.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. All right. Well, that is it. That's a wrap. Thanks, Josh.
Thanks, buddy.
All right.